We've heard the head of CNN and others say perhaps there should have been so many rallies shown so often without any filter at all.
Yeah.
But the counter argument to that, and by the way, I'm one of those people that couldn't turn his head away from the TV when Trump was speaking, is that he was making news. He was incredibly unpredictable, incredibly provocative. And Dana, as someone, you were there at all these rallies, he was making news at these rallies.
He was, and that's the struggle, because I take your point about it being, all Trump and not necessarily focusing enough on what Hillary Clinton was saying. But because Donald Trump was saying pretty much every day something that was so wild, we felt a responsibility to talk about it and fact check it, which is what got him so mad at us, because he said, you're so negative and you don't treat me right. And it's because he had a 50% shot of being president of the United States. We felt a responsibility that to really dig into what he was saying. Hillary Clinton wasn't doing that. She wasn't saying things that some things she required fact checks, and we did. So that, I think, explains the disparity. It doesn't doesn't necessarily excuse it, but it certainly explains it, because just like everybody here was grappling with what to do with this, kind of unicorn, we were also,
And what I learned, I as someone who I've spent years with the New York Times before joining CNN, and I love sitting in control rooms. I just love watching from the back of the control room at CNN. My takeaway from that is these are minute-by-minute decisions. You're deciding what to do about a Trump rally in real time, not based on months of conversation, not based on a plot to help Trump or hurt Trump, but just based on what's news that minute. Totally. And that's the reality of the cable news world.
Yeah, I would say, and one point to that, and just from my experience with Senator Cruz and watching other Republican candidates, they didn't make themselves available. They were saying the same old stuff.
Amen.
It wasn't interesting to cover potentially a Ted Cruz rally if he's giving the same speech for the 100th time.
Did you all talk about that at the time? Because one of my frustrations, looking back, I think to myself, actually I was thinking
I
this.
said it on the air at the time, so
Did
you
you?
hear it.
I was thinking, yeah, exactly. I was thinking at the time, why weren't they coming out and trying to learn from Trump's antics?
Because they were caught up, I think, in the traditional Republican, the Fox News primary, trying to get influential talk radio conservative hosts on their side. Therefore, they weren't paying attention to CNN. Meanwhile, Trump would call him up anytime, take him live. They were caught up in a different kind of race that allowed Trump to run up the middle, dominate it at an early stage, and then the cameras never went away. They couldn't